To become a better leader, whether that's in business, in sports, or in life, and you haven't found a book yet to help you get to that game-changing aha moment, well, we have the book for you. Tighten the Lug Nuts, the principles of balanced leadership. Tighten the Lug Nuts will help you get to that game-changing leadership moment. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and iBooks, or at 360managementservices.com. That's the number 360managementservices.com. Pick up your copy today and start changing your leadership styles.
Now it's time for the show. Emo. You be the judge. Do this look like work to you? Nah. Looking at the lights like it's all of this for me. Everyone tonight is here. All of this for me. Hands in the air, yeah. All of this for me. Bottles over here. All of this for me, for me. All of this for me, for me. All of this for me, for me. Light fast, light flash. All of this for me, for me. All of this for me, for me. All of this for me, for me. Bottles bringing bottles out. All of this for me, for me. You for real?
Hello, and welcome into another edition of The Rome Show here on Hamilton Radio, hamiltonradio.net, channel 2, facebook.com/The Rome Show 1. I am Andrew Romanella. That is Rocky Romanella.
How you doing, Andrew Romanella?
I'm doing very well. It's 7:01 here at Hamilton Radio. We are taking you all the way up until the 8 o'clock hour. You know it already, but we'll tell you every week anyways. You can call into the show. Get your colorful sports opinions on the show. 609-807-2492 is how you do it. You can get us on the Facebook as well as the Twitter. We're going to go with @CoachRomo24 because we're having some login issues with the Wide World of Rome.
Oh, no, that's not good.
So let's go with Coach Romo24 on the Twitter. Jam-packed show today for the humans, Rocky.
Yeah, no, there's actually a lot of sports going on right now. Like a lot of talk, a lot of cool things. The NBA All-Star Game was on. Daytona 500 was today. Like there's just a lot of, there's a lot of sports going on. XFL.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see the guy from the DC team after every win? He goes in like pounds of beer with some of the fans. Yeah, it's
So
great.
After every win or every touchdown?
I think no. It's at the end. Well, the last 2 weeks he's only played 2 games. He's did the last 2 weeks. So it's not like every time, but it looks to be a trend starting down in DC where number 69, he's a lineman, runs over to the stands and crushes beer with fans.
And it's the only good football that DC's seen in about a decade.
That's right. I mean, that stadium I think was sold out. They took it to the Guardians on Sunday.
They did. We will get deeper into the XFL as we get further into the show. Before we get to Straight Off the Rome today on the Rome Show, we need to address the brand new logo that you're seeing flash on the screen. We unveiled our new Rome Show logo this morning on the Instagram, made by the one Katie Fizzle, a caricature of my face. Never thought I would see a caricature of my face until the new Rome Show logo. And I got to say, Rock, raving reviews
I love it.
from the Romo Sapiens.
I think it's incredible. Just to have my brother's face plastered on my chest like that, like Superman, I'd love it.
So one of the questions we'll get into later, which we asked the Romo Sapiens on the Instagram, was what apparel should be featured with the brand new logo of the Rome Show. And
Do you have good responses?
oh yeah,
Yes.
I cannot wait to give you those responses. But it's a new era of the Rome Show because of the logo,
It is.
and we're excited.
Officially branding.
We might, officially branding. You're right.
Officially branding a beard.
We might have to work on getting a caricature of your face to add to what we've currently unveiled today.
Interesting.
Right? Interesting.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Maybe we'll roll that up a fan poll.
Yeah, right?
See what the fans think.
Do we need to make Rocky's face a cartoon? No.
No. 72%. 28% are me, Jen, her family, and our family.
And the hockey fans that listen in.
And the hockey fans. So thank you, Katie. Pure Design Works, her business. Check it out on Instagram. Super awesome. So we're pumped about it. And we want your opinion. Let us know on the socials. Call us, 609-807-2492. Heck, if your opinion's that colorful. All right. Straight off the Rome. Today, February 17th, 2020.
That date is correct.
That date is correct. It's an easy one this week because it was Mom's birthday on Saturday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Nice.
This whole Astros thing's a mess.
Yes.
It's a mess from every angle. It's a mess from Major League Baseball and the way the commissioner's office has handled this whole situation. It's a mess from the backlash of the players on the other 31 ball clubs. Well, 30 because the Boston Red Sox are cheaters too. The other 30 ball clubs in Major League Baseball. But it's more so a mess from the standpoint of the Houston Astros.
Yes.
And their comments this week and their initial address to the media at spring training. Now, let me say this, okay? No one's going to lie here and say that baseball's not a long season, okay? Baseball lasts 7 months. If you include spring training, it lasts about 7.5 to 8 months if you're a playoff contender. But there are still 4 months between the end of the season and spring training. Why do I say this? Because were they surprised that they had to talk to the media? Because their comments sounded like they were. Like they got in front of the microphone and said, man, this snuck up on us. Who would have thought we would have been here talking to the media on this day? Not that it hasn't been in our calendar for the last 4 months. So how do you not come out, if you're Jim Crane, the owner, if you're the players, Altuve, Correa, Bregman are the three that most people seem to be centering their focus on. If you're not those individuals, how do you not come prepared with a legitimate statement? Because, Rock, all they told me when I heard them talk was, yeah, we cheated. And honestly, since Major League Baseball's not taking our World Series ring away, we don't really care about it. And we don't really care what you think about us.
No, I know. We just need one person to be like, yeah, listen, you got us, right? You've punished us by firing our GM and our coach. Like, okay, so yeah, we did it. And then you probably don't have to answer that many questions that much more.
This is why people.
I mean, do they think that they're still going to get disciplined if they admit it? Like,
Right.
What do they think? Like,
Is it going to get worse?
do you think that they got through this because they denied it? Like, we know it happened.
Like part of me thinks Major
People
League
know
Baseball-
it happened.
And part of me thinks Major League Baseball wants them to not say much.
I think that Major League Baseball has completely fumbled.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is
Tiki Barber.
oh god, this is epic. This is let the Miami Dolphins win on a hook and ladder
Yes.
versus the Patriots fumble. That's what it is.
That's 100%
I
fact.
can't take it.
But
The Manfred interview with Tim Kurchin
Oh, my God.
Carl Ravitch was awful.
awful. What did he tell us?
Nothing.
Well, I mean, and the question that keeps coming up is, why can't the players be punished?
Those are the one. So they're saying that it was a organizational decision. It was a decision from like the upstairs staff to allow this to happen, right? There was more people involved than just the players, right? But it was the players who executed.
Yes.
Right? So you can sit here. I mean, if you're a player, you make a conscious decision. You know the video guys are doing this. You know the video guys are giving you the TV, right? The TV flash is green or red, right? Whether it's fastball or curveball, however the scene goes. Then it's a player who does the signaling. It's not the trainer. It's not anyone. It's the player that does the signaling, right? And not one player in that dugout walked over and said, "Dude, stop that."
Right. None. Not
right.
one human being.
So you can't tell me that it's not the players who are just as much as fault.
Yes. And the fact that Crane came out and said, well, I don't really feel like we, disrupted the outcomes of the game. How? And I thought Gleyber Torres said it the best, okay? He was speaking with an ESPN reporter, and I want to read this quote to you because it's more than just baseball. And I don't think that's what some of these Astro players understand. It's about integrity. It's about your perception. It's about the kids and the people that buy your uniform. Those are the people paying your salary.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to see before I read this Gleyber Torres quote, because I don't want to forget this thought, I'd really like to see the Houston Astros fans put their foot down and for one game not show up to the ballpark.
Never gonna
For
happen.
one game, how can you support them if you're a fan of the Astros?
I don't anymore.
Like if this happened with the Mets and they won a World Series, with the joy that would have came with winning that World Series, would you not feel on the other side, like, how could they do this to us?
I know it'd be like, come on, I've
Yes.
defended you, I've
Forever.
defended you in battle
Yes.
when no one wanted to defend you,
When we were bad,
when you sucked,
we still bought tickets to show up.
and we've watched more blown save after blown save.
And I'd rather you lose the right way
Yeah,
than win, get the jubilation of the win, and then forever have to be like, yeah, but
I know.
they cheated their way through it.
I know it's awful.
It's disappointing. So Gleyber Torres says this. They stole an MVP from teammate Aaron Judge. In Venezuela, Altuve is a hero. I don't want to say that during 2017 regular season he didn't put up his numbers or what he did is not real. I really believe that everything he has done is legal. But in some situations, I think about what the team did and the use of camera and everything, it doesn't really feel very good. I think that's the best sum of all parts.
Yeah,
They did not cheat for 162 games of the regular season, and I'm sure they didn't cheat for every postseason game because they weren't doing it on the road.
you can't do it on the road.
Can't do it on the road.
So for 81 games,
You
yeah.
didn't cheat. I'm sure it wasn't every single regular season game. So I get what he's saying there. Hey, you know what? Maybe during the regular season, it wasn't as heightened. Altuve actually did hit with those numbers. Because we should look this up. Maybe we'll get our stats guy on it. Oh, wait, that's me.
I look up stats sometimes.
Altuve, we don't even know. His away numbers that year, he was an MVP. They might have been fantastic. They had to have been fantastic enough for him to win the MVP, which is what everyone's looking at when they say, well, look at his playoff splits, right? His playoff splits are 167 on the road and 400 at home. Well, yeah. Well, there's the pattern, right?
Yeah.
So I agree with what he's saying, but at the end of the day, the statement for me, Rock, is it doesn't really feel very good. Everyone in baseball is feeling the same way.
No, exactly. It sucks. And the worst part is I don't know. Now I have to question: are guys reacting this aggressively towards the Astros because they are also doing the same thing? Is this more common across 10, 15, 20 more teams than we realize, and that's why players are so against it? Or are they so against it because it really maybe it's a small conglomerate and it could spread, right? And they're trying to shut it down. Think about it. When steroids came out, it wasn't just a couple guys. It became everyone in baseball.
Right.
Right? The same. Is that going to happen here? And is that why everyone's so hardcore against it? Because they're either protecting themselves and lying, or
I think it's a mix.
yeah, it probably is.
I think you haven't really heard from that many players. You're hearing from players now because the microphone's forced in their face at spring training.
Yeah, they're spring training. So
Right?
I mean, you're
so
going to talk
it
about
changes
it.
the narrative. But I think the reason why there was so much more silence during the offseason portion of this saga is to your initial point. The fact that, dude, there are dudes in Major League Baseball that were also doing this.
Yeah.
And it's known and on the record that in 2016 and 2017, Rob Manfred said to ownerships of every team, GMs, presidents, managers, whoever gets Rob Manfred's emails, that he had heard that cheating was starting, that the usage of video was being used the wrong way, and he wanted it to be stopped.
There's only one way.
You got to come down hard.
That's it.
The only way. And
That's
I'm
it.
sorry, firing your manager and GM is not hard
It's
at
nothing. It's nothing.
all. What is that?
That's nothing. Man City's getting kicked out of the Champions League for 2 years.
So can you explain that to some people? Because I'm not saying that the Astros should be kicked out of Major League Baseball, but
No.
I said this a few weeks ago, postseason ban, why can't that be on the table?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, well, first of all, the Champions League acts more as a elite tournament than it does a league, right? So you have to be invited, right? You have to earn a spot, right? And then you're playing pretty much a round of, I think it is 64 over the course of the year, as if you're playing a tournament. Less a league than anything. But that's kind of how soccer's played.
True, that's right.
Right. So I guess they got in trouble when it came to how they handled money with players. So it was 100% an organizational thing. It didn't seem like players were involved. So they were truly punishing the organization. Now, Man City's going to appeal This actually doesn't go into effect until 2021-22. So, and they have a pretty good team this year. So there's a good chance they'll be playing for the Champions League title this year, which would be, irony itself.
So
But again, I mean, they banned them from the league.
So let me ask you this, because you're a huge fan of the way international soccer runs their leagues.
Yes.
Do you believe that a lot of the North American professional leagues should begin to adopt what the Champions League has adopted, or the way they currently institute their punishments on their teams? Or for your favorite argument is when you lose, you get relegated to the B League.
That's right.
And it keeps you wanting to try and win and losing on purpose.
Yeah.
There's a penalty for that.
I think it'd be really hard to duplicate the relegation model to professional sports here in the U.S. You could do it, I think, at the youth level, like up to college, in certain cases. I think the only league that could handle something like that right now and might need it is the NBA.
I knew you were going to say that.
But
You've made that argument on this show before.
Look at yesterday's talent. I mean, you just have. I mean, everyone is all bent out of shape because these guys are playing too hard, but they're really, really good. And you're just never going to get that group of players on the court together in an Olympics.
Right.
So
You're right.
when else are you going to see those 12 best guys?
Never.
No, but if you started tiering your league that way, and by the way, if the NBA wanted to grow, they just have to do a better job in the youth community.
Yes,
If they took
100%.
over 10 to 20-year-old basketball in America, you would have even more players than you have now.
Much of like the way the hockey teams build up from the pros and then have junior teams that are named the same thing.
I'm just saying. I mean, I just think there's such an opportunity to take. There's so much more basketball talent out there.
So why do you think relegation works for them?
Because the talent gap in the NBA is spread so thin.
So you don't think something like that? So then, I don't think it works in any sport. And I think it would still be tough in the NBA as well, because we've gone so deep into North American sports, the way they're currently constituted, that it'd be very tough to pull the reins back on that. Much like when leagues talk about, does baseball go from a 162 game schedule to a 155 game schedule?
Well, if they do that stupid new playoff rule, maybe.
Oh God, so much baseball stuff you could get into with that. We got to get into that one day, not today, because I do think that's one of the dumbest things ever.
Either way, the Astros should have more.
No, but that's my next question.
Yeah, that's where we went.
If the relegation doesn't work, does the punishment work? Does that model work?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's not the Premier League that's banning them, and the Premier League is their league.
Right.
Right. So
What is it? The National Federation of Soccer? Like,
no, it's the Champions League. So the Champions League is the collection of all the leagues.
Oh.
So that's what banned them, not the Premier League.
Okay.
So
that'd be as if
that's what
the AL Central banned the Houston Astros. No. Yeah,
yes,
right.
But that's what I'm saying. So let's say So the NBA brought up a tournament. Like maybe they should have a tournament mid-season.
Right.
And that's why I think it could work. Because look, now let's say take the
bottom 8 teams.
I don't know, but
they play a tournament.
Well,
whoever loses,
you just take the 4 best teams in the league, and outside of the NBA, they have their own elite tournament.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
And like they play each other randomly throughout the season,
yeah,
and then have their own championship on top of the NBA championship.
Okay, that makes so much sense.
That's how this works.
It would almost be like if the G League actually mattered.
Yes.
And it was the NBA team still
if you
playing.
made, that's right. You had, you make, yes.
You have an NBA. Okay, I get that. All right, well, I agree with you. All right. Before we finish the full Astros conversation, though, I want to read this because I think this is one of the coolest things that could be happening from this Astros situation. And I think it's something that actually might benefit baseball.
Okay.
Because it's about the youth. So, 2 California Little Leagues, Long Beach Little League and East Fullerton Little League in Southern California, have prohibited the use of Astros as a team name ahead of the 2020 season because of the Houston Astros sign stealing scandal. Okay? The league president, Mr. Steve Klaus, had this to say.
Claus.
Santa Claus had this to say. Parents are disgusted. They are disgusted with the Astros and their lack of ownership and accountability. We know there's more to this scandal. What's coming tomorrow? With the Astros, you've got premeditated cheating. End quote. I think that is the best thing to come out of this whole situation. And I'm going to continue further, okay? In this article written by BleacherReport.com from the Orange County Register, okay?
Way to cite your sources.
Well, you have to. It's only the right thing to do. They interviewed an 11-year-old that plays in the Long Beach Little League, and he had this to say. I don't think it's right to represent a team that's been cheating. 11-year-old Mick Peterson of Long Beach Little League told the Register, the Dodgers got robbed. It's not fair. I mean, that's beautiful innocence. Because, like, I get it. Like, he's pissed as a Dodgers fan more so than anything else.
He's 11.
But by saying I don't think it's right to represent a team that's cheating, don't we learn a lot from children? You learn a lot from Sophia all the time, right? They're smarter than you realize, right? They teach you a lot.
Yes.
If an 11-year-old can say it's not right to represent a team that's cheating, how can Alex Bregman, how can Carlos Correa, how can Jose Altuve not come up here and say, I got to hold myself accountable, right? Why?
The same reason Sammy Sosa can't speak English.
Oh, my God. You had to take it there.
It's the same reason. I mean, they don't want to admit it.
This
That's
is the
it.
second
That's all
time,
it is.
The second time in as many weeks you've referenced that congressional hearing.
That's. I mean, but think about it. It's the same reason the guys who took steroids don't want to say they did it.
But when Andy Pettitte came out and said he did it, we all then now think of Andy Pettitte as one of the better pitchers of all time.
Andy
and he had a
Pettitte-
chance for the Hall of Fame.
It wasn't the whole Yankees team that was cheating. It was just Andy Pettitte. So it's easier for him to take ownership. Like, think about it. If one person on the Astros comes out and says what we want them to say, which is, yeah, we did it. Like, we know we messed up. Like, we're sorry. We're going to do our best to work our way back and earn the respect of our fellow players, right? If one person makes that decision, the entire locker room's guilty.
Yes.
Because they all knew it was happening.
But did you hear what
so
Mike
that
Fiers
is
said?
why, but that's why.
But Mike Fiers said that. He's like, we all knew we were cheating.
So again,
So he's the guy.
there you go. But I'm just saying, like, the other guys are gonna, like, then now they're fighting each other.
So Major League Baseball comes out, and I know you saw this or heard it. Major League Baseball comes out and says, hey, no retaliations from other players. There's going to be severe punishment if people retaliate.
I think it'll be riotous.
Okay,
if
so-
they start penalizing players for throwing at the Astros and not penalizing the Astros.
All right, so it's March 27th.
I think you're gonna see a lot of it.
2020.
I think you're gonna see a lot of it in spring training.
March. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Spring training would make the most sense.
Because you can brawl it out.
Well,
Like,
think about it. Think about this, right? I get suspended for the first 10 games of the year. What do I care?
right. Yeah, you know.
If I'm on a playoff team and I get suspended for the first 10 games of the year for throwing at Altuve in spring training, what do I care?
you don't at all. You're right.
I never have to miss. If I'm a pitcher, I no
just
longer
want-
have to miss a start.
Yeah,
I don't have to miss a mid-year start now. I can get into a groove,
yeah, you're right. Maybe that's what we see.
and I get an extra week to get warmed up. I don't have to throw. I'll go throw live pen to my AAA guys all day.
All right, so let's play the imagination game. Okay, this is gonna be a fun one for me. It's March 27th, 2020. Okay, you've been given the gift of Matt Harvey's ability to pitch, and you are now the starter for the New York Metropolitans. Okay.
Matt Harvey, like when he was the Dark Knight.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and that's the reference I can think of because I feel like he's an average guy that found some good talent all of a sudden.
I think he was really great, and then he just like let it go to waste.
Whatever. Either way, okay, you're on the mound.
Okay.
Right? You're playing the Astros. Altuve steps in. All right? For some reason, you have a vendetta against him. Right? You're pissed. You're mad they cheated. Maybe he took you deep a few times in Houston the year before. Whatever it is. What would you do?
I'd hit him right in the hip. I'd throw a two-seam fastball at his hip. I'd hit him right
You didn't
above.
even think twice.
You know, like I think it's called the fupa for some people, but there's a bone right there. I would try and hit that bone and shatter it with a 2-seam fastball.
That is so
Not
funny.
even because like I care about Altuve. I would just want to be the first guy to get it done.
Yes, that's my thing. Oh, and that's where I'm getting at. Like,
I just want to because
yes.
everyone else will suck.
Yes.
If I get it done, I
go
get to
first.
represent the whole league.
Yes,
I
you
can be
do.
like, dude, I got him.
Yes.
I did it for the boys.
And forever. Like
That's
when
right.
the 30 for 30 comes out about this.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
the guy.
guy.
I'm there. I have a legacy of greatness forever. I may not win a World Series, but I'll be the guy that threw out Altuve first before anyone else.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, and I broke his hip.
Because I aim for the, what you call that?
You know, like right above on the side of your, there's
What?
like right above your butt, like on the left outer cheek.
Okay.
There's a bone over there.
Okay.
I think it's probably your hip.
Yeah. What'd you call it?
Well, people call like the fat part your fupa.
Oh, I
I
didn't
just
know,
wanted to
I
get-
didn't know what you said.
I needed people to understand the area I'm talking about.
Oh, that is too funny. 609-807-2492 if you want to talk about your hips or the fact that we should be throwing at Jose Altuve. Last thing I'll say, though, pretty cool that a Little League banned the usage of uniforms. If you were a Little League coach and you had the choice of any uniform, what team you choosing? Mets aren't on the table.
If I had to choose a little league team,
So you're coaching Sophia's Little League softball
I'd
team.
be the Cubs.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Why not? It's the Cubs. I was born in Chicago.
All right. See, that's a fair reasoning.
There you go.
I thought about this all day.
Or I'd do the Angels.
Okay. I don't know if that's probably why, because of Trout, probably.
No, because we went to like 20 games when we were kids.
Oh, so you're really putting some thought into this. I couldn't think of it. I still don't know.
I still cheer for the Ducks.
I think I might choose like the Marlins.
I feel like the Marlins always win Little League.
But yeah, you're right though. But the old Marlins when they were the teal and the black.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe
that's
the
back when
Orioles.
we played
Maybe
Little
I'd be
League.
the Orioles.
Yeah, I could see that. See, it's hard when the team stink and the kids aren't probably.
I would. I think I was the White Sox once.
You were. That's what
Dude, the
you
White
hated.
Sox in Little League suck though because it's just little. It's a black T-shirt. It's like a sweet.
It was always. It was
I got a
really.
WS that looks like a seahorse. Like, stupid symbol.
Do people like? I mean, I remember like being picked to be on like the Pirates, and then I forgot what the other teams I was on.
Pirates. Yeah, you were on the
I was
Pirates.
definitely on the Pirates, but like that like I remember.
I think I was on the
like,
Rockies once.
caring. That's funny.
Yeah, I know. Sweet.
How many people you think made that joke to you?
So many. The same amount of people that have asked me, "Oh, like the movie?"
The same amount of people that have called me Adrian instead of Andrew.
Yeah, exactly.
How about this? I'll tell you this funny story, right? We're right up against a break, and I don't want to get into hockey time before the break because I want to give you ample amount of time to talk about the trades.
Yes.
So we're doing softball media day at FDU today. Okay. Now we're trying to make our situation, which is a little makeshift, not as makeshift. So some of the girls come in and they're like, Romo, this, that. They're asking me all these questions, what we're trying to do. And one girl just like stops and she's like, "Hey, Romo, what's your name?" And I was like, "What?" I was like a little taken back by it. She's like, "What's your name?" I was like, "Andrew." She's like, "Wow, I would have never guessed that."
Yeah.
And then for literally the remainder of the media day while she's there, like girls were coming in, she's like smacking my shoulder. "Yo, his name's Andrew." I'm like, "Is that funny to you guys?" So our soccer coach comes in and I'm like, "Keith, you want to laugh?" He's like, "What's up, Romo?" I'm like, "They just asked me what my first name was." And he's like, I had to think about that for a second. And I feel like, for me, it's funny because that has really become like my name, right? But for you, I mean, Rocco is your given name, but
Yes.
Rocky is your name. And everyone, I think, assumes that it's just a nickname that you're getting.
Yeah.
And it's actually my name.
Yes.
And for me, it's the exact opposite. It's like, what the hell is this guy's name?
Yeah.
Like, who the hell is this guy? What's his first name?
It's Ralphie.
Yeah. I think Vincent was the one we dropped the ball on.
Yeah, I mean, you had some sweet nicknames.
Dude, I do have some sweet nicknames. All right, we're headed up on a break here. On the back end of this break, we got a little bit of hockey talk because Rocky wants to get it in. We got a little Romalytics, and we got an NL East breakdown plus the fans, okay? You want hockey coming out of the break, and then you want the fans, don't you?
No, we can go fans first.
Fans first.
Yeah. We can go fans.
All right, cool. All right, Ruben, we're going to pay the bills here, and then we'll come back with the fan takes here on The Rome Show.
Are you looking to become a better leader, whether that's in business, in sports, or in life, and you haven't found a book yet to help you get to that game-changing aha moment? Well, we have the book for you. Tighten the Lug Nuts, The Principles of Balanced Leadership. Tighten the Lug Nuts will help you get to that game-changing leadership moment. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and iBooks, or at 360managementservices.com. That's the number 360managementservices.com. Pick up your copy today and start changing your leadership styles.
All right, we are back here on The Rome Show. Andrew Romanella, Rocky Romanella, 7:30, February 17th. Hamilton Radio Channel 2, Facebook.com/The Rome Show 1. A ton of people tuning in on the Facebook. We appreciate it. We remind you, share. The more you hit that share button, the better it is for the show. The more we can get our show, our new logo, right?
Yes.
New logo. Get it out there. The apparel will be coming soon. That'll be exciting. But just hit that share button for us. Help the Rome Show out. And I guess, based on our conversation before the quick break, I should start introducing myself as Romo.
Yeah, I am Romo. This is
I am
the Rome
Romo.
Show.
This is the Rome Show. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. All right,
Lot of
let's get to the
Romes.
fans here. All right, here we go. So, we unveiled the logo on the Instagram. So it was only right that once people saw the logo, they should start giving us their opinions on what they want to wear with the logo on it. So, I really am pumped about some of the responses. I'm going to give you a mix, okay? A hat with a new logo so I can get rid of Artie's. And
Who?
it's an inside joke,
Okay.
but it's a hat that has a symbol of a guy with a big bat that's essentially is like "Ladies love my wood" or something like that.
Oh, like Artie Lang
Yeah, kind of.
from Beer League,
Yeah.
now batting
Jace.
number one.
A Jace. Okay, moving on. One of my former players said, let's get some RV gear represented. It's a little green and gold with the logo. We
Interesting.
can make that work, maybe. A toothpick. I like that right in.
Like have a toothpick that says.
That has the Rome Show on it.
How do you get that logo on a
I
toothpick?
don't know if the logo can fit.
Okay.
All right, KR1. A hat, a G-string,
Wow.
and a sweatshirt.
I mean, why not?
All in one response.
Great. I'm happy that there's another person out there that did multiple.
I know you are.
Yeah.
Onesie for baby Rome. Start them young,
Ooh, I like that one.
right?
Yeah.
So get some baby clothes.
doubt.
Hats for sure. A mess snapback, sleeveless hoodie.
It's mesh.
You spelled it mess.
Oh man, that one wasn't me.
A mesh snapback, a sleeveless hoodie, and a waffle long sleeve.
Yeah.
Fair. All fair. Gear that Besmere sells at his store, clearly. Well, Besmere wants gear for Besmere.
Nice.
So, Besmere, when we get it,
Co-brand.
we'll tell you where to buy it. Don't do Romo, please. People will think you're related to Tony Romo.
Oh, okay. That's a nice write-in, actually. We appreciate the fan support there.
Mr. Enzo, that's a great write-in.
That is. I mean,
He's right. He's not wrong.
no, that's good with me.
All right, let's go with me too. Okay, moving on from the fans. Do you like all those responses, though? The one thing is I do want a short sleeve hoodie as well,
Yeah. I mean, listen, anything with a hood is good.
right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're on the same
Anything
page.
you can wear to the gym.
Okay, I think you'll appreciate this next one. What pro sport has the best All-Star game?
Baseball.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I had to wait for the fans.
you're right. No,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a great guess.
Well, it's true.
Is that what you voted as well?
Yeah.
Why is it the best one?
It's the most natural.
Because they're playing the game the most game realistic way?
I mean, there's not a pitcher who doesn't stand on a mound not trying to strike you out.
Right, you're right. Yeah, they're not just lobbing up there for you to hit home
So
runs.
so you can and winner gets home field advantage in the World Series.
which I think is awesome.
That has nothing to do with it. I think the All-Star
I thought
game
that
has
got
always
taken
been.
out of it, though.
It hasn't. The All-Star game has always, in my opinion, the MLB, the baseball All-Star game has always been very revered.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
never. It's always been very classy.
Pete Rose barreled a catcher over in the baseball All-Star game.
I just think there's no. It's impossible for you really to not kind of go hard in baseball.
The number 2 All-Star game, what would be your guess?
I think humans picked the NBA, and then I'm just gonna go biasly with the NHL.
It is the NHL.
Oh,
The
really?
Humans picked the NHL as well.
Interesting.
Number 3 would be the NBA, and there was one lone vote for the NFL.
The Pro Bowl's an embarrassment.
terrible.
They should play flag football.
100%
Just
agree.
put them in flags.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you put them in flags?
Because I believe that if you put them in flags, they actually play harder and it's a more entertaining
No
product.
doubt, no doubt. They have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Like, go play. They can literally be like kids.
Listen, you're a premier athlete. One more game on your body, if that's the difference maker in your career, well, then it's probably something beyond just you playing in that one
That's
game.
right. And Pro Bowls, All-Star games, essentially they're actually about. They're not actually about the competition. That is where you truly target your young fan.
Right.
The All-Star game is the one place where it is only about the 8 to 18-year-olds.
Yes.
The
100%.
only place where it should be, too. So,
I agree with you 100% because you're showcasing your product. And by the way, what the NHL is doing in a whatever you want to call it, bias, non-bias, what they're doing is genius. Changing to the 3-on-3 tournament and then bringing the women's hockey both from Canada, the U.S., and Canada, that's a huge add-on to that game. And I think it just brings so much more intrigue to wanting to watch the All-Star game, especially when hockey's a sport, which we always talk about on the show, that could generate some more fanship from the borderline sports fan.
yeah, no, they've always been very progressive. I mean, they did the Young Gun game for a while. They've done an Old Timers game. They've always had that extra game in there that kind of adds a little element on night one before, like the night before they do the skills comp.
So, 609-807-2492. Just because you didn't write in on the Instagram doesn't mean you can get on the show. Facebook.com. I love when the people write in. Twitter, Coach Romo24. Based on the first 2 weeks, will the XFL succeed?
I actually think the XFL could make it to the end of the year, end of their season.
Now, first off, I'm going to give you the answer, and then I'm going to ask you a question. Okay? 63% said yes.
Yeah.
37% said no. I was surprised. I thought it'd be more 50-50. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, my question is, how do you define success for this league?
For this league, success in year one is making it to the end of the season with a champion. That's it, because the original XFL did not make it.
Right.
Right? Since
Didn't make it the full year, huh?
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe it did.
But okay.
I don't remember what was in 30 for 30.
But it's different now anyways, so it could still be
No, because
a
it's
new
it's
point.
already been deemed unsuccessful. So yeah, so it's out. But I think the fact that they started it the week immediately following the Super Bowl was a good move. I think that because it's the XFL and it's not anything else, right? And you know it's a second chance, you're going to give it a second chance. I think over the last 4 years, there has been more negative sentiment by fans in the NFL than any other sport out there, even though it's still generating even more and more money every year. But that's more I think that's more the gambling side of it than the actual fanship.
And fantasy football.
Yeah, exactly. So I just think everyone is into football right now. There's nothing in the spring for you. And for whatever reason, them targeting the home cities for NFL teams actually, for me, originally I didn't really understand why, but now it makes sense because you're generating fans that are already there.
And the way I look at it is the XFL is not trying to be, this time around, a better version of the NFL. The XFL is trying to be a fifth professional league in North America. So you can be a fan of, and this is to what your confusion was, you can be a fan of the New York Giants and the New York whatever the hell they're
And the
called.
Guardians.
There you go.
Yeah, you can do both.
Right? So the idea, I think, from the XFL is that you can now have another team in the spring that's not baseball, that it's not basketball if you're not into it, or if it's not hockey, where you can stay watching your favorite sport. And then here's the other side of this conversation. The NCAA is playing a lot into this because NCAA football is so popular that I can go see Cardell Jones play in the XFL and remember the time he was at Ohio State as the third-string quarterback winning the national championship. And to me, as the football fan who probably watches the NFL and NCAA football on the same wavelength, now can watch NFL, NCAA, and go back to those cool storylines, which I lost when the kid graduated because he wasn't good enough for the NFL, but now has a second chance in the XFL.
Yeah, no, I think it's 100. If it becomes a feeder league, then it'll be successful.
And I think ultimately success is defined by the start of season 2.
Yeah, no, you gotta produce the Well, first of all, I mean, you've got to continue to get the fanship. I mean, that stadium in DC yesterday was pretty packed. I mean, it was smart that they went to the DC United Stadium.
Yep.
Right, that's a nice stadium too. Anyways, by MLS, and the MLS games they sell out. So you might be, onto something right now. But it really is gonna come. It's really gonna come down to it. If they can maintain it throughout the year. And I think, dude, they've got ESPN. You've got the guys that are doing NFL games doing XFL games. Like Kevin Burkhardt is on board.
Yep.
Right. You've got a couple of the other guys that are doing games. They have the sideline reporters, and they're trying new things. And people are so sick and tired of the rules in the NFL.
Yeah, you're
like
right.
It just gives you a break. Like you might be able to tolerate the terribleness of the NFL from a rule standpoint just by getting your XFL fix in the spring.
Well, yeah, because now a lot of people are talking about, does the NFL look to change to a three-point play? And for those of you that might not know that are listening to the show, some of the rule changes in the XFL are the kickoff. So the teams stand I think it's 5 yards apart from each other, and no one can move until a yard is gained by the return man. So it essentially eliminates injuries on the kickoff, but actually allows for the opportunity for a kickoff return to ensue. Another one, which has been widely liked by a lot of people in the XFL and watching the XFL, is the 2 or the 3-point conversion. Mm-hmm. So no longer do you have just going and kicking the extra point and we're chilling, or going for 2. Now you have to choose, you're going for 1, which is on the 2-yard line, the 2-point play, which is on the 5-yard line, and the 3-point play, which is starting at the 10-yard line. But it makes a 9-point game a 1-score game in theory by football standards, because when you're down by 7, right, all people say is you just got to get a touchdown. Well, what pushing the extra point back to a lot of people is it's not just about kicking the extra point anymore because it's not guaranteed. So now you got to score 7, right? Well, now an 8-point game doesn't feel like 1 score anymore. It feels like 2, but people assume it's 1. Well, you can get into the end zone and then go for 2. Well, now a 9-point game gives you that same feel, because I can get into the end zone and go for 3 and tie it.
Yeah, so no, I think all the rule stuff and the strategy stuff is definitely intriguing. Look at how fired up you just got about it.
Well,
I think the XFL needs that stuff, right, to stay afloat, because it keeps the interest level that high, because it, again, like you said, it's so unpredictable. Right, it's not set in stone that you need 2 possessions to win a game, right? You might need 1 possession, right? In an NFL game, you need 2. I don't think you'll see much of that rule stuff come into the NFL, because there has to be a difference, right? That's where you're gonna lean on the NFL legacy, where at some point you have to stay as a classic. Like think about it. We loved the Super Bowl because it was a classic football game. It was a good football game, right? It was back and forth. It was strategy. It was good scheming. It was running, right? So that stuff I think will never change. You're not gonna have. You don't want that 3-point stuff. You don't want the game to change, right? But from an XFL standard, it doesn't matter, because you're there to entertain.
Right, yeah, because nobody's watching the XFL necessarily right now for the wins and the losses of each team.
No, half the reason you're watching the XFL is for the guy who's chugging beers at the end of the game.
Number 69
That's
from
right.
the DC United. Who are they?
The DC Defenders. I think.
Should do a rundown on all those teams.
I had them written down for last week's show, and I forgot to bring it with me. Yeah,
that is so funny. Well, I think it's definitely moving into success. Anything negative you see from it before we move forward here?
No, I mean, no. There's no reason to be negative about the XFL. I think it's fun. It's fun. It's cool. It gives people something to do on a Saturday or Sunday. Like if you're someone who can't afford an NFL game, especially here in New York. I mean,
great game times too.
You can't get into New York. You can't pay less than $85 for a ticket to a Giant game.
Yeah.
So if you can't do that, right, and you just can't stand the Jets, I mean, there's a lot of fans that are looking for something fun to cheer for.
Yeah, because they're
And
not
if-
happy with New York.
And if you're not into the Red Bulls, like, why not go watch the Guardians?
Yeah, it's a good point.
And it's on the weekends.
Yeah, you're right. And they play at 3 and 5 on Saturday, I think, and like
A couple games on Sunday. It's both days.
But it's still like it's still a good time. It's like 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. or something great like that.
Yeah.
Like the game times we've all ever wanted.
Yeah, and it's nice. You got a lot of a lot of NFL coaches.
Yeah.
Kevin Gilbride, head coach of
know.
the Guardians.
I know. I think that's funny.
Listen, but
that's the
but that's
smart
drawing. I mean, you're going to get the
Yes.
best out of that caliber of athlete if you
Yes.
give them the best coaches. I mean, it
Yes.
makes sense.
Yeah, and who's the guy? Oh, Bob Stoops, the former Oklahoma coach back in the XFL.
Yeah.
So like names like that draw people because they're interested because they know those names.
I mean, I've always said, like, I would love to be a practice player for the NFL. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
6 figures and you
Yep.
get to play football.
And you get to act like the team that you're playing.
That's all you do.
Yeah.
All right, but I mean, those guys now have a job, right? They have a job year round,
Yeah.
right? And who knows? Like, they have one good season in the spring, and they might find themselves on an NFL roster in the fall.
Well, and I heard that there were 28. I think it was 28 of 32 NFL teams represented in the first weekend or something like
Yeah.
that. So they're interested too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, why wouldn't you be?
Agreed.
I mean, why wouldn't you be? I mean, you see it. You just see it now. Like, some players just need a little bit longer to develop,
Yeah.
and especially at the quarterback level.
Yeah. 100%. And this is now that opportunity.
I mean, I could see like the Patriots being the first franchise to own an XFL team.
Like make it their minor league system.
I honestly believe that. Yes. Well, I mean, think about the way. Think about how methodical Bill Belichick and the Patriots are. You can legitimately plug and play anyone into that offense, into that defense, right, and have a chance to win, right? If he did that at the AA level for himself, like, he would have an endless pool of talent.
I just figured it out. That's what Josh McDaniels is holding out for his first head coaching opportunity.
The head coach of the XFL
They're
team,
gonna-
the feeder system.
They're going to buy the New England XFL team. Josh McDaniels is going to become the head coach, and he's just going to feed Bill Belichick players.
I mean, listen, it could work. I mean, think about it. Look at the Yankees. The Yankees rebuilt their entire organization through their minor league system.
Right.
Right? The best teams come through the minor leagues where their core talent is homegrown, built from themselves. Right? And if you want to sustain any type of success long term, I feel like you have to have a good system.
100% true. The Rome Show here on HamiltonRadio.net, Channel 2. Andrew Romanella, Rocky Romanella, taking you all the way up until the 8 o'clock hour. Before we go into the hockey talk, I asked the people if they were excited about the Daytona 500. And no one really was.
I mean, I am.
And I was surprised by that. I thought it was like one of those events that, like, even if you're really not that interested in it, you still watch it. But once it got moved to a Monday, I think it lost its flair. And the people were not happy about the Daytona 500. So did you watch it?
I watched a little bit tonight, yeah, before I
won?
headed to the show. Denny Hamlin won.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Ryan Newman coming in
Is
second.
that the guy that has the FedEx truck, Denny Hamlin?
Denny Hamlin might be FedEx. I don't know, actually.
Okay.
He drives a Toyota. He's number 11, Mark Messier.
Okay.
It's exciting. I actually told you this.
Read off the winners.
No. There's just too much on the phone, so I don't want to do it to the people. I just want to give you my opinion on. Andrew asked me last week if I was, how I felt about sports because we were getting ready for the show, and it was the first week without the NFL, right? And I said I love it. Like a Sunday where I can flip through and catch the end of catch a round 4 of a PGA Tour. I can see a sprint to the finish. I can see a little NASCAR, right? And by the way, like, I don't care who you are. You can sit here and tell me you didn't like the Daytona 500. You can sit here and tell me you're not interested. If you didn't flip through for 5 minutes, if you had time, just to see if, like, for the 2 minutes you watched there was a crash.
You're a liar.
You're lying. You're lying. It's the only reason you really tune in.
Yeah, you were trying to see if there's going to be mass destruction. When you
Yeah,
turn the
no
TV
doubt.
on.
But if I'm thinking about spring, summer, and I'm thinking, like, I want a midday nap, I'm hitting the couch, I'm throwing either golf, NASCAR, or, like, an afternoon baseball game on.
And you're probably going to fall asleep in about 10 minutes.
No doubt.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
But it's fun
Maybe
to
I
have
need
there.
more race car watching in my life.
I like watching the cars go fast.
What's that Ricky Bobby quote?
I want to go fast. That's what he says.
So funny. What's up in the hockey world?
So I was at the Ranger game yesterday,
Okay.
which was you know what? It's too bad. It's too bad they're that young, or else it could have really been a fun atmosphere.
Why?
Well, so it was Hockey Day in America, number one. So every year the NHL does Hockey Day in America, and it's a whole lineup of games. NBC Sports did a recap of every great outside the lines hockey story, which was just awesome. A group of kids that were that came from Congo that have the opportunity to play hockey now. There was a women in hockey segment. There was a sled hockey segment. It's 40 years of Miracle this year.
Wow.
So there's another story out there with Al Michaels, and you can rewatch them all on NBC Sports. But anyway, so it's a really great day. It kicked off by the Stadium Series on Saturday night. So
Yo, that game looked awesome.
yeah, so it was at the Air Force Academy, right? The Avalanche played the Kings. The Kings won 3-1 on a late goal and then an empty netter. We watched
Yes, we did.
the end. The jerseys you loved, a lot of people hated.
What?
Yeah, eating up on Twitter.
Why?
Because it's hockey. We're classic guys, you know.
Yeah, but like it was sick. They had an airplane built into the Avalanche A.
No, it's cool. It's cool. They really went after the plane theme,
So, but
which makes sense.
right, it does.
the Air
They're
Force.
Air Force Academy. But like, here's my rebuttal to the hockey tweeters out there that didn't like the uniforms. Do you like the classic uniforms for the Winter
Old classic. Oh yeah.
So what's the difference? You're doing something different, anyways.
Because the uniforms at the Winter Classic always have an element of the past in them.
Okay.
It's not like that was just a future thing, like for right now.
Okay.
Had nothing to do with the Kings history or the Avalanche history.
So it's not about the design on the uniform. It's about the history behind.
I'm
the
saying
design.
I'm just saying that's why I like the Winter Classic jerseys better than the Stadium Series jerseys.
You're a true hockey Stonian, however you would say it. Like, did you like them?
I mean, I thought they were. I like the Avalanches better than I like the Kings.
Yeah, I agree with
although
that.
the Kings, what was it like they were like chrome helmets?
Yeah, they were fire,
Those are pretty sweet.
as the kids would say.
Yeah,
they were fire.
I didn't mind it. Like I don't mind that stuff. There's no reason for me to get upset at it.
Yeah, well, I thought, and I like that they're adding more outdoor hockey element to hockey.
You know what? I like that it's one Stadium Series game. That year they did 5 Stadium Series games.
Way
It was
too
way
many.
too much. But you know
Right.
they took the hint. They never did it again.
No, but at least But isn't it in theory you got to try it before you know if it's
And
not going to work?
And in reality, there's 3 every year because there's a Heritage Classic
Yeah.
between 2 Canadian teams every year that no one even
And
knows
no one
about.
knows about.
No
It's
one
funny.
even knows about. And that's been going on longer than the Winter Classic.
And don't more times than not the college teams around where the Winter Classic is end up playing games that aren't televised? Of
Oh yeah,
course.
there's always a thing. I mean,
Right?
there's always a thing. I mean, we had even when it was at Yankee Stadium, even the youth hockey organization I coach for, we had you pay for the ice, but we got all the squirts up there.
Wow.
So they got to have a game up on the ice.
That's sick.
So over the course of the week, the ice is up. I mean, it's rented out to everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a regular rink.
Yeah. Honestly, as you said that, you got the squirts on there. Like, I wonder if other people realize what you're talking about.
Those are just 10-year-old kids.
I think travel hockey has the best names for their youth.
Yeah.
Mites,
Squirts,
peewees,
Bantams, midgets.
Like, why is midgets the highest level?
I don't know. I don't get it either. Anyway, so Saturday night was the Stadium Series game. Is a really good point. At least like the double B team isn't better than the A team. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so that was nice. And then Sunday's always just a lineup of games nationally televised. And so the Rangers 3:30 game was versus the Bruins in Madison Square Garden, which is always fun. The Bruins are the best team in hockey right now. And the coolest thing about the Bruins is that they have the best line in hockey.
Sure.
Marchand, Pasternak, and I always forget the other guy, and Bergeron. And they're just so...
Patrice.
They're just so good.
Well, that's good. So you
They
enjoyed
all-
the game, but the Rangers lost.
But the Rangers were coming off a 5-game winning streak.
Yes, they were.
just swept the road. Igor Shesterkin, I still can't say it, but I love this guy. I think he's a true NHLer. Wins his first couple games on the road, gets hurt, stays in the game, wins it. Then they sit him down because they don't want to really kill him. And then Georgiev comes in, wins another 2 games.
Boom.
We come back from a 2-goal deficit in the third versus the Minnesota Wild. Their coach gets fired the next day. Gotta love it. right? We're flying high, and we're a young team, and then you come into the Bruins, and you're just like, there's so much pressure.
Did they compete?
They competed, but you know what? They played too defensive. They played to defend their top line and to match lines rather than just take the game to them.
Play. Yeah.
And I think it hurt the ice time for the third and fourth line guys, and it just kind of got in the way. But the stadium was packed, and it was buzzing. It was loud. People were yelling like ridiculous things.
That's all you want.
There's a lot of Bruins fans. Like
That makes
it
sense.
was loud, and there was a couple good cross checks on Marchand because he was being dumb, and there was some good. And then Zibanejad scored to bring us within one with like 7 minutes left, and everyone got jacked up again, but we just didn't have the magic. We weren't crisp enough.
That is your hockey report brought to you by Rocky.
There you go. So anyway, so I'm excited. That's what you asked me what was going on, and
Yeah.
then you have then your Devils had a big trade.
Trade deadline. Yeah, Andy Green gone to the Islanders.
And I
Blake Coleman gone. I forget where he went.
he went to Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. That's right.
But I just think
First round picks getting back though.
I think
Need it.
I think the story though about the Devils that could appeal to everyone is you have the captain of the Devils, Andy Green. He's 37 years old, right? Great career in the NHL, and the guy gets traded to a Stanley Cup contender.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, what a way to energize yourself.
and stays in the metropolitan area.
Stays
Which I
in-
think is pretty cool.
He
Actually,
probably doesn't have to move.
nope, not at all.
Right?
And you can still see him as the Devils fan, respecting what he's done for your
Yeah, no.
organization.
So I thought that was. I think it's cool for Andy Green. Like I'd be pumped if I was him.
I love it. Wait, we're heading down the stretch here at hockey season, so these NHL updates brought to you by Rocky are going to get a little bit more extensive because we're going to have to break down.
I'm gonna need you to
predictions.
prompt me
Yeah.
and ask me questions about the rest of the league, or
Yeah.
else I'm just gonna talk
Go
about the
with
Rangers.
the whole time, just like the Mets and just like the Giants. It's a consistent pattern.
I mean, listen, that's what I know.
It's the opposite of what Andre from Urban Economics was saying to us before the show.
Yes, exactly.
About how when you play sports, which I think is a good point. Some
No,
athletes that play sports,
He did make great points.
some athletes that play sports, it's very hard to become a fan after you end up finishing and playing that sport. Okay. NL East prediction. We got 4 minutes left on this show. Okay. Your NL East prediction for 2020. Before you give it,
Oh, this is so hard for me.
I'm going to give the people the 2019 final standings.
Okay.
Atlanta Braves, 97 wins. Washington Nationals, 93 wins, the wild card, eventual World Series champion. New York Metropolitans, 86 wins. Philadelphia Phillies, 81 wins. And then the Miami Marlins, who won every little league in America this year, but only won 57 games in Major League Baseball. So that was your standings in 2019. What do you got for me in 2020?
It's so hard for me not to say the Mets are going to win the NL East.
I know it
It's like the hardest thing in the world. Like, I don't know. And I don't, listen, I'm sorry, but if you're telling me, anyone listening, that you could sit when a friend asks you to predict the league that your favorite team is in and pick any other team in that league, I think you're crazy.
Yeah, I agree. And you,
So
you
I'm
yelled
just
at
gonna
one Anthony
I'm just
Rinaldi
gonna
for
take
this one time.
I'm just gonna take the Mets out of the division. The Mets are no longer in the division.
That's
All right.
cool.
I think that the Phillies might end up ahead of the Nationals, and I still think the Braves might end up at the top. And I think the Marlins will finish last, but
We'll be
they're
back.
not going to be bad.
Still as many Little League championships?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. That's going to stay consistent.
But I don't know. I just feel like I don't know if the Phillies or the Nationals can pass the Braves.
So I'll give you mine.
Yeah.
I got the Braves,
Yes.
the Mets,
Okay.
the Phillies, then the Nationals,
Yeah.
and then the Marlins.
So literally the same thing.
So you said you weren't going to put the Mets in.
Yeah, but I
So,
ranked the rest of the teams the same way.
Well, I will tell you why I ranked them this way.
Okay.
The Braves are legit.
They're good.
They are legit. And they're
But maybe not their bullpen.
maybe not their bullpen, but they're legit enough to win the NL East again for the third straight year, mind you. The Mets are going to be better. Again, bullpen question marks, okay? But they won 86 games last year, and even though they lose a Zach Wheeler, I don't think they get worse. They add Jose Quintana. He's towards the end of his career. They add, what's the guy from the Detroit Tigers, former Cy Young Award winner, was at the Red Sox too.
Yeah, I know.
They add him towards the end of his career. So I understand those things. But I do believe that they're going to win 90 games and complete for a wild card. The Phillies are going to come in third because they're the Phillies. They find a way to be the Phillies, and I just believe, I'm sorry, and I know people say individuals can't affect baseball.
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper, man.
No doubt.
Then the Nats, World Series hangover. That's cool. They'll be back in 2021, and the Marlins will be the Marlins. That's my finishing.
Yeah. I think the Marlins are going to push for the 4th spot, like harder than you realize.
Yeah, maybe. And the Mets will probably lose to them like 8 times this year, as they always do. Romalytics before we leave?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to talk about this next week, though.
Cool.
Real quick. The number 3, that's your Romalytic this week. 3 major rule changes coming to Major League Baseball in the 2020 season. Number 1, roster size goes from 25 to 26, so you add a player. Number 2, you have to be designated as a pitcher, a hitter, or a two-way player at the start of the season. You have had 20 at-bats and 20 innings on the mound in order to be considered a two-way player. If not, you cannot pitch and hit during the same game. Lastly, you have to face a minimum of 3 batters if you are a pitcher or finish an inning. So no longer do you have the one-hitter reliever. We're going to dive into these later, but those are your Romalytics for this week.
I like one of the 3.
All right, well, you're not going to say it right now.
No.
Because we're going to save that.
Tease.
For February 23rd. This has been the Rome Show, February 17th, 2020. Remember to share it. We appreciate the Romo Sapiens that tune in. We will be back next Monday. We appreciate you. Andrew Romanella, Rocky Romanella. We are out.
To become a better leader, whether that's in business, in sports, or in life, and you haven't found a book yet to help you get to that game-changing aha moment, well, we have the book for you. Tighten the Lug Nuts, the principles of balanced leadership. Tighten the Lug Nuts will help you get to that game-changing leadership moment. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and iBooks, or at 360managementservices.com. That's the number 3, 60managementservices.com. Pick up your copy today and start changing your leadership styles.
Do this look like work to you? Nah, looking at the lights like it's all that is for me.